right, let's look at inequalities. So we could have linear inequalities. And so this is an example. 3 is less than 2x minus 5 is less than or equal to 9. And I can just go through and add 5 to both sides. So I'd get 8 is less than 2x, which is less than or equal to 14. And dividing everything by 2, I would get 4 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 7. And then, so I solved it. Now I need to graph that. So at 4, and then at 7, it's greater than 4 and less than 7. And now in interval notation, a parentheses is where for less than, where it's not including that 4, and then a bracket is including the 4. Now let's look at nonlinear system or inequalities. So with these, we need to set this equal to 0. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And now our next step is to find the critical values. Okay, so we're going to set this equal to 0, and then we're going to solve it. So I can factor here x plus 2x plus 1. So my critical values are when x equals 0, and that, or when the equation equals 0, and that happens when x equals -1 and -2. Okay, so that's my critical values. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just figure out when is my function greater than 0. So here's my function, and when is that greater than 0? When is it positive? Okay, so this has a couple different sections. We've got when x is -2, when x is -1, and so we want to think about those sections. So for example, we can test x equals -3. We're going to, and maybe x equals negative, how about 1.5, and then x equals something over here. So easiest one would be 0. So first we set the inequality equal to 0. We found our key points, and now we need to test those points. Okay, so I'm going to just set up a little sign chart here. So my factors are x plus 2, x plus 1, and then the function is x plus 2 times x plus 1. So let's just see what happens here. And because this is greater than, it can't actually equal 0. So those are not going to be part of the solution. Okay, so I'm just going to look and see what happens here at -3. -3 plus 2, that's negative. -3 plus 1, that's negative. So when I multiply a negative times a negative together, that would be a negative times a negative. So that would be positive in that section of the graph. Okay, same thing here, -1.5 plus 2, that's positive. -1.5 plus 1, that's negative. And then you multiply a positive times a negative, times a negative, that whole thing is negative. And at 0, we're positive, positive, and positive. Okay, so now I'm looking to see when is my function, here's my function, when is that greater than 0? Well, it happens twice, here, and then I write my interval. Okay, so this section is positive, and this section is positive. Because of that just greater than, there's no equal, I'm not going to include those critical values of -2 and -1. So my interval goes from -infinity to -2, or I skip over to -1 towards positive infinity. On this next one, we're going to look and see what happens when we have a fraction. So first step is the same, where you set it equal to, or move everything to one side. So you have 0 on one side. So we'd have 2 over x minus 1 plus 1 minus, just subtract that 2 over x plus 1 from both sides, so we get everything on the left side. And now we need to get a common denominator. So I'm going to let my common denominator be x minus 1, x plus 1. This first one has the x minus 1, so it needed to get multiplied by x plus 1 over x plus 1. And 1 needs to get multiplied by that common denominator both in the numerator and the denominator. Right, that's all times the 1. And the 2 over x plus 1, all that needs is the x minus 1 in the numerator and denominator. Okay, so then that's all greater than 0. So combining here, I have my big common denominator, and I'd get 2x plus 2 plus x squared minus 1 when you multiply all that out, and then minus 2x plus 2. My 2x's are going to add up to 0, so I have x squared, let's see, 4 minus 1, so that'd be plus 3, all over x minus 1 times x plus 1, and that is greater than 0. Okay, so here's my function, and I'm looking to see when is that greater than 0. Well, it can be, fractions can be equal to 0, they can be undefined. Okay, so let's see. It's undefined at x equals 1 and negative 1 from the denominator there. But is it ever equal to 0? It's not, because x squared plus 3, that's just going to be some positive number. It can't ever be 0. So never equal to 0. It's 0 when the numerator is 0. So my critical values are just at 1 and negative 1. So the next thing is to set up a sign chart. Okay, so I have at negative 1 and at 1, I look to see what's the sign, or what, you know, if it has an equal, it's not an equal, so I know that it's just not going to include those points. So I'm going to have parentheses in my interval notation. It's not going to include those. So now let's do a few test points, and we'll look and see what happens with our function. So numerator and denominator. Okay, at negative 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 3, that's positive. That's always going to be positive, no matter what you put in there, because you square a number and add a 3, it's going to be positive. Okay, let's look at our x minus 1. At negative 2 minus 1, that's negative. 0 minus 1 is negative. 2 minus 1, that's positive. And x plus 1, negative 2 plus 1, that's still negative. 0 plus 1, that's positive and positive. Okay, and here's what we're really interested in, is the whole function, right? The whole entire thing. So f of x. That has a numerator divided by a denominator, right? We have x plus squared plus 3 all over x minus 1, x plus 1. So here we had a positive divided by a negative times negative. That whole thing would be negative. Oops, that's positive, positive, positive. Okay, here I have a positive numerator, a negative in the denominator, times a positive in the denominator. So that is positive divided by negative is negative. Oops, sorry, this was positive. Okay, and then positive divided by positive times positive, that is positive. Okay, and we're looking to see when is my function positive. That happens here and here, but not including those. Okay, so we're just going from up to negative 1 and then skipping over and starting at 1 again. So we're going from negative infinity to negative 1 and then skipping over to 1 to infinity. And there we have it. So we're just careful about what that symbol is and whether we use a bracket or a parenthesis there. So we're not including those critical values. Okay, so let's do some inequalities with absolute value. Okay, here all you have to do is isolate the absolute value, and then we'll set up our two cases. So just to remind you, so if I have absolute value of something, if what goes in there is positive, then what comes out is the same. So in this case, x, the absolute value of x is x. So here though, what comes out is positive 3, which is the opposite of negative 3. Okay, so x could either be, itself if it was positive, or the opposite of it if it was negative. So you have two cases. So we either have, if what goes in here is positive, then what comes out is the same as what went in. Okay, that's case 1. Or you could have x minus 3. If what went in is negative, then what comes out is the opposite of that, 2x minus 3. Okay, so 2x minus 3 is either less than 5, or the opposite of 2x minus 3 is less than 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve those. I'm going to add 3 to both sides, so 2x is less than 8, so x is less than 4. And my other one, I'm going to just divide both sides, so I get 2x minus 3 is greater than, because if you divide or multiply by a negative, you have to change the direction there. So 2x minus 3 is greater than negative 5. And then solving that, we have 2x is greater than negative 2, x is greater than negative 1. Okay, so this is the y. The shortcut is when you have less than, you can just take it's between positive and negative 5. So we'd have 2x minus 3 is contained within that boundary, which is what you get here and here. Okay, so this is the shortcut way. Some people like to just do that. All right, but now I have to take and combine my information. We're bigger than negative 1 and less than 4. Okay, so my interval notation would go from negative 1 to 4 with parentheses, because that original symbol didn't have an equal. So then I have to use my parentheses. Okay, now with this other one, it's really important what that symbol is. Okay, if you understand why, you don't have to worry about the direction of the symbol, and you just can set up your two cases. Two cases. Okay, so if what goes in is positive, then what comes out is the same. So we'd have x is greater than, there's so much noise outside of my house. It's garbage day, there's sirens, we got a hurricane coming. Okay, so we've got 1 minus 3x is greater than 4. That's the first case. And then if what goes in is negative, then what comes out is the opposite of that. So we'd have that greater than or equal to 4. And then we can solve these. Go ahead and just subtract 1 from both sides. Negative 3x is greater than or equal to positive 3. Dividing by negative 3, just go ahead and make sure to remember to flip that. Okay, so we have x is less than or equal to negative 1. And I'm just distribute that in. Negative 1 plus 3x is greater than or equal to 4. And adding 1 to both sides, we would get 3x is greater than 5. So x is greater than 5/3. What is that? That's 1 2/3. Okay, so we're going between, we're less than negative 1. Okay, and we're greater than or equal to 5 2/3. So my interval here would go from negative infinity to negative 1 and including it. Or you skip over and include 5, oh that should be a 3, 5/3 towards positive infinity. There we go.